Hey, welcome back everyone to the Progressive Brothers Podcast. This is episode 66. Please hit the like button as you come in, share the video if possible, and hit that notification bell so you get all the updates from the Progressive Brothers Podcast. Also, make sure you follow us on Twitter at brothers_podcast. Today's topic, Nooses for Newsom. So, California's recall of Gavin Newsom was sparked by external influences. California does have a strong conservative base, but they have been dormant for the last few years. And what inspired this is what happened in January on the 6th at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. Now, how do you make these two connections, or how do I make these two connections? The dissatisfaction that you see with the vaccinations and the mask wearing, as well as California's liberal position, politically and socially speaking, has sparked a wave of blowback on the side of the GOP and the anti-vax movement, the Proud Boys movement, the far-right movement has made their way into California politics and on the ground. If you've been paying attention to the news the last 10 days or so, what you have seen is that the Proud Boys have become the anti-vaxxers, the anti-mask wearers, and have been taken to the streets, as well as a combination of the GOP's push to topple the government inside California. Gavin Newsom is in his first term. And this recall is all about an insurrection, in my opinion. And the reason why I say this is that the idea is to continuously topple what they think are illegitimate political figures in power. And that includes people running for office and people who are sitting in office currently. Gavin Newsom may not be perfect, but the way he handled the pandemic was a lot better than, let's say, DeSantis in Florida. You can look at the numbers and you can see if the populations were equal, that Gavin Newsom did a heck of a better job than, let's say, DeSantis, or even the governor of Texas, which is Governor Abbott. Now, I say all this to bring to light that there is a nationwide movement to overthrow or have this insurrection, social insurrection of leftist, liberal people in power, including people running for office, such as Nina Turner, that we saw last month run for office, and that the GOP came in and supported a Democratic candidate by the name of Shontel Brown. But why am I bringing all this up? It's important to understand that the same people who went to the Capitol on January 6th, on 1/6, have made their way into California and are now running around and causing a muck. And not only are they in California, but they've made their way into other blue states as well, basically banging their pots and pans to get a reaction, to have a different sort of change of guard, so to speak. Now, Gavin Newsom, as I said earlier, did not or has not completed his first term, and so what is the desire? I heard from a YouTuber or a person on YouTube say that California politics would be so much better if conservatives actually ran it. But if you do the research on California does extremely well with leftist, liberal politicians in power at the gubernatorial seat and at the subordinate seats as well. And so when you really think about it, the dissatisfaction that they have with Gavin Newsom, they could potentially, from a data standpoint, aggregated, could have the same dissatisfaction for DeSantis or for Governor Abbott. But they don't have that same dissatisfaction because those two governors, as dismal as they are, toed the line of conservative thought. They're anti-mask wearing, they're anti-vax, they're anti-CRT, whereas Gavin Newsom, governor of California, he's pro-vaccination, he's pro-mask wearing, he's pro-CRT, he's pro all of these things that they can't stand at all. And so the dissatisfaction has nothing to do with him and his governance of the state, but his social-political views are in conflict with those who are not in power at all. And so the desire is to make sure that they get this guy out of power once and for all, before he's even due for the election in 2022. And what do the numbers say? The numbers say that 49% of Californians actually favor Gavin Newsom being in power as of this morning. 26% actually support Larry Elder. Now, why is Larry Elder even a consideration? Well, Caitlyn Jenner, who considers itself to be on the right, is not a favorite for the right. And so the right is not actually backing it up. But when it comes to Larry Elder is a good weapon because he's a minority, he has a familiar face, he's popular, somewhat speaking, and he is a good wiffle bat against the left because he speaks the rhetoric of the right, but he's not actually white, and so they can't make it seem like they're pushing more of white politics from a person standpoint, but they can actually use Larry Elder to gain a foothold into California's gubernatorial process. He doesn't know he's being used, but he's going to try to leverage what the right can do in order to get himself into a position of power. But in reality, he's no different than, let's say Michael Steele. Not that Michael Steele is just like Larry Elder, but they are using his face as a minority to gin up support for for the GOP and the conservative movement out there. But at the end of the day, Larry Elder having the most percentage points to run for that special recall seat only speaks to how people feel right now because it's temperamental. It's not like Larry Elder has been this really big guy on policy. Most of his policy is just carbon copy of what the right says. So if the right said it, he's going to say it. He hasn't really thought anything that's unique and exclusive when it comes to policy development or policy speaking, and when it comes to California's politics. So why is the noose so important in the thumbnail? Although they wanted to hang Pence, they now want to hang Gavin Newsom. And so you see all of these MAGA supporters on the ground, not exactly with the MAGA hats, but they do have the same talking points just without the memorabilia. And so they're trying a different strategy to bring the nooses to Newsom without actually showing their faces that they did at the Capitol on January 6th. It's a really crazy strategy that they're using, but at the same time, we've seen these tactics before. In fact, we've only seen them 8 months ago. And so I think people should really keep this on their radar, pay attention to what's happening. 49% of Californians said that they would actually support Gavin Newsom, and if there's anybody else on the ballot, they have no real interest in it at all. for all intents and purposes, Larry Elder is the front runner for the, for the gubernatorial seat from the Conservatives, but there's no real hope for Larry Elder to get into that position. At 26% support, he leads the pack, but leaves a lot to be desired. Like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at brothers_podcast.